Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there's a lot more craziness happening in this country. Well, what I'm talking about is that the View has gone full insanity, and they don't seem to understand anything that's being brought to them, anything at all. They'll talk about how guns are the problem and stuff like that, and not blaming mental illness. Well, I'm going to show you guys a few videos here. A few of these videos, or clips rather, are going to show exactly on how the left operate, how they think, and what's going on. First, I'm going to show you the deranged leftists of not really blaming the monster, which is the transgender shooter, for killing 6 kids, but blaming it on maybe how he was treated, and then maybe on how the mere fact that that other people are the problem, but it wasn't him. Yeah. I don't care about misgendering him or whatever, or any of that matter. The only thing I care about is that this monster was finally put down and can no longer harm children or people in general. Take a look.
Release a motive as to why she shot up the school, but I have a pretty good guess. What have Christians been doing lately? They've been banning books about LGBT. They've been discriminating against the LGBT. They are banning drag shows. So people are screaming, oh my God, it's a hate crime against Christians. But how about they are the ones that were bullying her first?
Today, in my criminal justice courses, we discussed the Nashville shooting. And thankfully, my students raised awareness around the fact that a lot of the media is misgendering the shooter. Which, why do we care? They unalived like 6 people, including children. We do not condone that awful behavior, so screw them and everything they're associated with, right? Wrong, because in my area of study, of work, we look at the why. The why, in my opinion, is just as significant, if not more so, than the what. And I can't help but think this trans man targeted a Christian school that he attended, that he may have had very negative experiences at, how much the anti-LGBTQ legislation impacted his mental health to push him to this point.
Just from a sociological perspective, looking at it on its face, somebody who lives in Nashville, who is just top of the news for all these discriminatory bills, who identifies as male and I assume to be transgender, who has already now, as an adult, probably experiencing a lot of discrimination and hate because of these bills, but also has probably experienced this all of their life. People don't just go up and shoot up a Christian school, being the demographic that they are in the political climate that we're in, just because they felt like it. Like all of the other mass shootings, when all of these dudes like just did it for fun, or they're anti-Semitic, or nobody would fuck them, like those reasons.
It seems like he was an old student from that Christian academy. Also in Tennessee, where they recently banned drag shows in a law that is so vague. My wife, who wears men's clothes but identifies as a woman, could get arrested walking down the streets of Tennessee. So while I do not think what the shooter did was justified in any way, shape, or form, and they absolutely need help, could it be potentially that this person was transgender, and with all of the laws being placed, he was afraid that he was going to be ridiculed and put into a box, kind of like the school maybe did when he was younger and didn't want to be called what he was being called?
Just because you don't like what you can't being called does not mean you go out and murder people at all. Straight up. Also, to add anything else, it's like you can't. There is no law, and there is no any law in any state to where, depending on how you dress, you will be arrested on how you dress. There is no law that says that. That last lady is spouting bullshit and lies that she doesn't even understand herself. So these people are actually evil. They have to make it all about the person that shot the person that shot the kids, rather than talking about, I feel bad for the actual children that got shot and killed and all that great bullshit. You know what? It's insanity to me. It's like they want empathy, but they're the least empathetic humans on the planet. Yes, sympathize with the shooter, the person that killed 6 people, three of those people being children, because he was misgendered. Yeah, I really care about him being misgendered. I don't give a shit. He's been put under the ground, he's gone, and he can no longer harm people anymore. So, without further ado, we have more of this craziness that's going on. Now we have, of course, Joe Biden coming out here and, laughing about the whole situation and making a joke over something. That is not a laughing matter for multiple reasons. There are times and places to laugh. This is not one of them. Joe, you're an evil and disgusting man. I don't know what to really say about you, but, it angers me immensely. Take a look at this. This is going to make you angry.
I believe that Christians were targeted in Nashville school shooting. I believe that Christians were targeted.
I have no idea.
Josh Foley believes they were. What do you say to that?
Well, I probably don't then.
Probably don't.
No, I'm joking. No, I have no.
You have no idea, Joe. You have no idea. There's literally a manifesto of him saying it. And there is a whole bunch of evidence pointing otherwise to that point. Now, I would really want the police to release the full manifesto, because I'm pretty sure it will be eye-opening to all these crazy leftists and these insane people that this was the true thing. And even still, they would still defend this person because they have to defend a monster that killed children. So, I guess this is what we're seeing with the far left. They have to be defended at all costs because, because they feel bad. Yeah, so let's go with feelings to make sure that they're great. How about the feelings of the parents that lost their children? How about the feelings of maybe the children that lost their mother or father? Or what about the family members that lost any of them involved? Yeah, let's not care about them. Let's not give them any type of support or empathy. Let's just give the empathy that killed all of them. Yes, let's just do that. Well, now we go on to a bigger thing. So what we're going to do here is do two clips in one session. So what we'll do here is that we're going to show exactly Senator Hawley going and talking about about the shooting, and also him explaining him going to specifically talk about after that we'll have it where the View kind of weighs in their opinion on the matter and how evil and monstrous that they are. It's really astounding on how evil these people can be and how they have to deflect every single time. Take a look.
Today, I will introduce a resolution explicitly condemning this massacre as the hate crime that it is, and calling upon this body to condemn hateful rhetoric that leads to violence.
Transgender community. I mean, crazy stuff. So is this once again, are we just weeing in the wind?
Well, first and foremost, I really want to praise the officers who charged into the building, shots being fired, Rex Engelbert and Michael Collazo. We saw a bravery that unfortunately we didn't see in places like Uvalde. So I just want to thank them for the countless lives that they potentially saved. It's so frustrating. The vast majority of this country wants to see something done. They may disagree on what solving this looks like, but I do think something is important. As the facts have started to emerge from this case, it confirms once again that in a mass shooting, this person was struggling with mental health issues.
There are mentally ill people all over the world.
I was
this
just
is the
going to
only
say
country.
that. I'm really sorry, but I have so many mentally ill people in my family. They are more likely to be the victims of crime than be criminals. That is a fact, and it has been studied in this country for over 60 years. So I'm so sick of people conveniently saying this is a mental health issue, or you can't look at this issue without mental health. This is an AR-15 style weapon issue.
This person was of sound mind.
I don't think
that is
anyone
not the
online
point.
does something
The
like
point
that.
is,
But it is
if
because
she
it's
did
both
not
things
have
matter.
access to these weapons, those 3 9-year-olds would be in school
But she
today.
has
Let's start with this. Let's start with this. The AR-15 style rifle needs to go. Period. Period. It needs to go. You cannot hunt with it. There's nothing left after you shot it. We all know what it does. And until that conversation becomes a real conversation that everybody's willing to get on board with, children are going to keep getting shot. People in churches are going to keep getting shot. I heard one guy say, well, you know, this is against the Christians. No, it's not against the Christians, because you would have mentioned it when they went into the black church. And you would have said, this is an issue we should be thinking about, but you didn't. So let's not do that. And let's not make it about transgender people. Let's not make it about anything but what it is. We have a problem with this gun and its accessibility in this country.
All right. So I guess we're going to have to go here. Besides the fact that they're just, deflecting and removing all accountability for this person, they're also talking about how it's not a mental health issue, and, it's because of the AR-15 style rifle. Okay, let's do a little bit of work here. Let's do a little bit of research, because they don't seem to know what they're talking about. So, first off, this is the AR pistol rifle, or what they're calling it. This is what we call a Kel-Tec Sub 2000 9 semi-automatic PCC rifle, which is a pistol form of what you could call a rifle. All right, so that's one thing. It's brand Kel-Tec. It's not even from the actual Armor Light company. So I don't know where they're getting that from. Okay, so first off, there's that. Also, it's semi-automatic, so it's bang bang. So let's go with that. 2, we're gonna go with a few other things here. With the, with what they're talking about with the AR-15s and stuff like that, and military style, where they keep on calling it military style. Alright, in 1959, Armor Light finally catches a break, striking a deal with Colt. The company managed to sell both the AR-10 and the new AR-15 design to Colt firearms. At this point, Robert Freeman, who had been one of the major players on the design team for both weapons, heads over to Colt to help oversee production. At this time, the AR-7 gets launched full scale, marketed as a civilian survival rifle, although it is also saw some military use. The first AR-15 weapons were sold by Colt to the Federation of Malaya, modern-day Malaysia. Now, this is 1959. Stay here with me, leftists and Democrats. You are about to learn something here. In 1961, Eugene Stoner became a consultant at Colt. At this time, Eugene Stoner leaves the Armor Light Company, taking position as a consultant at Colt. Around the same time, the United States Air Force tests the AR-15, commissioning 8,500 for Air Force use. In 1963, the M16 is born. With the AR-15 in the hands of the Air Force, a standard model of the rifle is born. They dub it the M16, the most famous service weapon of the United States military. General Curtis Lee May saw it demonstrated on the AR-15 in 1960. Impressed by the prowess of this new firearm, when General Lee May became the Air Force Chief of Staff in the summer of 1961, he placed 80,000 AR-15s on order for the U.S. Air Force. In 1961, the 10 AR-15s were sent to South Vietnam, as the United States continued to penetrate into the jungles in Indochina. Despite a great deal of success, U.S. Army wasn't enthusiastic about adopting the new rifle. Let me repeat that for you, you retards. Although the test after was ordered, even demanding despite a great deal of success, U.S. Army wasn't enthusiastic about adopting the new rifle. Although test after test was ordered, even demanding the detention of President John F. Kennedy itself, 2 things were clear. First, the United States was outmatched and outgunned by the AK-47 in South Vietnam. Second, the U.S. Army was too rigid and opposed to change to replace the clearly inferior M14. So, despite the continued resistance produced problems with the M14 forced the hands of Robert M. McNamara, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, the United States needed a rifle that could be used in all 4 branches of service. The M16 would be this weapon. It is mentioned that M16 was adapted to be used against the AK-47 today. Of course, the AK-47 is known as the M16's greatest nemesis. So, Yeah. So in 1965, the M60 becomes a primary service rifle. The military, as of 1965, does not use the AR-15. It is discontinued. It is not even on the list of weapons being used at all for military. So let's get that out. They're just using it for as a marketing ploy, as a thing to get people to buy it. But it is not being used as a military weapon. It is discontinued. The M16 is the military's favorite in terms of going against the against that type of stuff. So let's go about this. You know how they're talking about, you know, the mental health and stuff like that? Well, from this, purchase weapons despite receiving treatment for an emotional disorder. As cops say, her parents had no idea she kept guns in the house. And then, let's go with this. Oh, by the way, the parents did not know that she kept guns in the house. Or rather, he in this instance. So, he did not know they had guns in the house. Which means, where did he get this from exactly? Let's go with that. And then let's go with the mental health reporting in California. Federal law generally prohibits possession of firearms and ammunition by people who have been found by a court, board, commission, or other lawful authority to be a danger to themselves or others, or to lack the mental capacity to contract or manage their own affairs as a result of their mental condition or illness. Federal law also generally prohibits people possessing firearms if they have been involuntarily hospitalized or committed to a mental health or substance abuse treatment facility by a court, board, commission, or other lawful authority. No federal law, however, requires states to report the identities of these individuals when they become eligible to possess firearms to the National Instant Criminal Background Check System database, which the FBI uses to perform background checks prior to firearm transfers. You retards at The View. This is a substantial evidence of showing that the gun laws that you would want to enforce would not work because this person somehow got hold of these weapons while having under the mental capacity to not be able to have the gun. So this person had to have gotten this gun illegally, or a person that was a gun manufacturer or whatever, or a gun shop, illegally sold this to this person and they can be put in jail for it. So your gun laws that you're advocating for is not even a thing. Alright? So, without further ado, here's another thing of the, I would say, The View, trying to compare, doing two different kind of comparisons here. One to where it doesn't fit their agenda, and then to where it does fit agenda and how much they warp it. Take a look.
So, we're talking about the mass shooting.
You know, honestly, I'm so incredibly upset about this. It's almost hard for me to talk. When I heard this news on Saturday, it brought me back to that day in 2019 when another white supremacist, domestic terrorist, racist piece of crap drove hours and hours and hours to go hunt down Latinos in a Walmart and killed 23 people. And it's absolutely the same thing replaying itself over and over again in places that are supposed to be safe, in places where we all go. Now we can't go to the supermarket. We can't go to a theater. No. We can't go to a Walmart. We can't go to church. And so listen, I think it's time to name names and point fingers. Yes. Yeah. Tucker Carlson mentioned the Great Replacement Theory or some version of that more than 400 times on his show since 2016, according to the New York Times. Elise Stefanik bought ads on Facebook. And it's not just them. It's other hosts of Fox News. It's other Republican leaders. And they need to be called out. And listen, if you are an advertising on that station, you are part of the problem. If you sit on the board and are trying to be a civilized person, Paul Ryan, my friend, I'm talking to you, you are part of the problem. If you're a Republican donor tweeting about how bad you feel about this, but you're donating to people like Elise Stefanik, you are part of the problem. If you are a staffer working for them, you are part of the problem. If you are voting for them, you are part of the problem. And so I'll tell you what great replacement theory should be. We should replace all these people peddling hate and making financial and political gain from spreading racism. We should replace them with people who hold up American values. Right. And the last thing I want to say is I want to read the tweet that Liz Cheney wrote today. because I echo this, and every Republican with a conscience should be saying the same. The House GOP leadership has enabled white nationalism, white supremacy, and anti-Semitism. History has taught us that what begins with words ends in far worse. Right. The GOP leaders must renounce and reject these views and those who hold them. Kevin McCarthy, I'm waiting.
Yes, so obviously, when it fits their point of view, they do stuff like this, alright? This is the insanity that they do. The View is a joke. It should be immediately canceled. I don't even know why it's even on air. The amount of lies, racism, hate, and all this other stuff that they have been constantly spewing over the years is insanity. And I think it needs to end. Because they're the cause of the hate in this country, and their ignorant view of everything is what's causing damage. Alright guys, that's the video. Sorry for the very long one, but I felt the need to do this. Like, subscribe, share, and take care.